Hey guys, how you doing? It's Raymond here from the Raymond Report with your free NBA basketball previews and predictions today for Monday, March 24th. Hope you have yourself a good start to your Cash Out Monday. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner. I got a few picks for you guys here today, and we're going to kick it off with a game. Two teams who played last week, March 17th. Remember that game where Obi Toppin, 34 points in that game, went to overtime, and this is the rematch. And Indiana was a road underdog in that spot. In fact, the line was at 10.5, and they won by 2 points. And I remember that three-pointer near the end by Toppin, and he had a big game. Obviously, he scored 34 points. So the rematch is today. There was a few games in between, and you can see the bookmakers making the Pacers a 1.5-point favorite. Let me see the line moves in this game. What did this game open up at? This game opened up at 1.5. It went to 2.5, and now it's coming back down to 1.5. So a little bit of line movement, nothing crazy to talk about. But looking at the computer forecast, we do like the Pacers, though, just on the analytics. And again, guys, if you watched this video last week or on the weekend, I talked about this article that I wrote, I believe it was Friday or Saturday. Go to atsstats.com, go to Ron's system, chalk versus value. And again, I talked about this on the hockey video, and I talked about it on the weekend on this video, and I'll say it again in case you're watching for the first time. You know, when you watch it, when you're handicapping a game, and you see all the analytics point to one way, then at the end of the night, the other team wins. You're like, man, I thought I had it all, like, all the, connected the dots, all the cross the T's, dot the I's type thing. Then you look at the, the analytics. But this is where sometimes when you're looking at this as a sports handicapper or better, and you have to have a feel for this stuff, right? I always think, like, when you're looking at it, you can have all the analytics, but if you have a feel for sports handicapping, and it just doesn't seem right, and what the old golden rule of sports betting is when everybody goes one way, you do what? You go the other way. You just got to have that eye for to be sharp, right? And I don't know if you can have a sharp eye, but it's as sharp as a spoon. But you know what I'm trying to say. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves coming into this one off a win last game against, who did they play last game? They played New Orleans, and they kept them on the double digits on defense. Look at that, 93 points against, 134. So they're coming in off a big win over the Pelicans. I don't know if they call it a big win, but looking at this game here, you can see the Timberwolves are 8-2 straight up, 6-4 ATS, while the Pacers, even though they're 6-4 4-game win streak, they've only covered the spread twice in their last 10 games, so that's a little bit concerning. 51% chance of winning for Indiana, 39.2 for Minnesota. And looking at the history between these two teams, Minnesota in Indiana, 6-4 straight up, 80% covered the spread last 10 games, so 8-2 against point spread, 7-3 to the over, while Indiana is 4-6 straight up and against the number against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you know what? I'm going to lean with Minnesota in this one. I think they get the revenge spot here after that overtime win last week on St. Patty's Day. I'm going to go pick number one. I'm going to go a little bit of a value play. I think it's great value when I look at the line. Like, I had -7 for Indiana, I had +1. So I think when you look at the value index at the Raymond Report, yeah, you can, if you like Indiana, a little bit undervalued, I guess, or you can get great value at -1.5. But you got to ask yourself, normally when Indiana plays those teams with a 50 to 59.9 win percentage, the average line is -7. But this ain't your normal B-type team, right? Look at the record for Minnesota on the road. The thing I like about these, it's not a Jekyll and Hyde team, right? When I mean Jekyll and Hyde, you ever watch a team like they have here's the Jekyll and Hyde team right here, Indiana. At home, they're 23-10, but they hide on the road 18-19, right? It's not a crazy bad record, but that's what I mean by Jekyll and Hyde. But Minnesota, what you see is what you get with the Timberwolves. 21-16 at home, 20-18 on the road. And at home, because they're Minnesota, their lines are always going to be a little bit overvalued. That's why the ATS number is off here, because the bookmakers know that people, when Ant and all those guys, that people are going to bet the Timberwolves, right? Let me see, this is starting lineup tonight. So you got for Minnesota, Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall, Gobert. So yeah, so you got a pretty good lineup. That's why the ATS line. Bookmakers know that the betting public will lean more towards Minnesota, and that's why you got to follow the numbers, right? It's a numbers game. All right, that's pick number one. Let's go to pick number two. Going to go to the Toronto Raptors against the Washington Wizards now. The Wizards -1.5. The one thing I'll say about this Raptor team, they have a good history against the Wizards. Look at that. In the Washington, they are 8-2, and in last 10 head-to-head matchups, the Raptors are 8-2 straight up. So Toronto, for some reason, they got Washington's number. They're 8-2 against the point spread in Washington. 7-2-1 against the point spread, last 10 overall. I know the Raptors are on a 4-game losing streak right now. Same thing with Washington. So company loves misery. They're going to meet tonight in DC. Give me the Raptors plus the points, and that's a 1-unit play. Don't go crazy on that one. It's it's not the marquee matchup that you're going to see tonight for sure. All right, so that's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Now, I was debating between 2 games. I was looking at the Bucks and Suns game, and I was also looking at the Celtics-Sacramento game. And I'm going to lean with Milwaukee. I'm going to take the Bucks here, and I'll tell you why. Phoenix is -2.5 at home against a team that has a better winning record in the standing, right? A better winning record. Yeah, that sounds right. 41-30 straight up compared to 34-37. So they're 3 points below 500. They're 22-13. This is your classic Jekyll and Hyde team, right? 22-13. And then you got 12-24 on the road, where Milwaukee, 24-12 at home, but 17-18 on the road. Not a great record, but it's not as, it's almost the same thing as this, right? But going into tonight, you can see that Milwaukee, and this is what I was talking about earlier, right? When you look at the analytics, sometimes you wish when you're connecting the dots, everything would just flow into one certain mindset of the selection you want. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, right? Like, for instance, you look at Milwaukee in Phoenix in the desert. They're only 3-7 straight up, 3-6-1 ATS, and 7-3 to the over. While Phoenix, in the last 10 head-to-head meetings against Giannis and company, 2-8 straight up. So for some reason, Giannis has the advantage over Kevin Durant here, and Phoenix is only 2-7-1 against the number. And when I look at this, game here tonight, Milwaukee, you look at their past games, and when I look at the standings, the New York Knicks are 44-26 in third spot, while Milwaukee, I believe Milwaukee's in 5th or 6th here. Let me see. They're in 5th spot. They're 16.5 games behind Cleveland, but they're only 4 games back of the Knicks, and only 1 game behind the Pacers. So, Milwaukee can do themselves a favor by winning more games in March and April to jockey themselves into a better, maybe a first-round home game series. But you look at their last few games, 114-108 against the Kings. Then they destroyed the Lakers, 118-89. And then they lost to Golden State, but who doesn't, right? And then they lost to Oklahoma. So they've had some really tough games here. So they're battle-tested. They're ready for this one. I'm going to go with Milwaukee over Phoenix Suns, and I'm going to take the 2.5 points, that Geico Insurance, because, I'm getting the team with the better record, plus points. And, so I just trying to scratch my head, but we'll see with this. Oh, here's the other thing I want to show you. I even highlighted for you guys. Look at Phoenix at home coming off a win against the point spread. 3-16 off a win against the numbers. So give me the Milwaukee Bucks over the Phoenix Suns, and as Stone Cold would say. Stone Cold said so. Yeah, this game here, I was debating. The only reason why I'm not touching this game here is right here. 5-game straight up win streak. And, Boston in the standings, 5 games behind Cleveland. That's going to be tough to beat. Cleveland's playing some really good basketball. And I don't know. I just feel like you're pressing your luck here if you take Boston. And you look at Boston, 28-7 on the road, 24-12 at home. They are 6-4 straight up against Sacramento. Sacramento, 7-2 against A-type teams. So, and they're off 2 losses. So I think you're going to get Sacramento's best effort tonight. I don't think I'm going to chance it. All right, there you have it. Those are my 3 selections this evening. I'm going to go Minnesota Timberwolves plus 1.5. I'm going to take the Raptors plus 1.5, and give me the Milwaukee Bucks. 3 dogs. Let's see if we're barking. Hey, 3 dogs tonight. Let's see if we'll be barking and meeting up in the winner's circle at the end of the night. Have a great night of hoops. We'll see you back on a Ruby Tuesday with another edition of the Raymond Report.